birthday party to go to, so part of my father-in-law. I just want to mention real quick, when Councilmember Traeger mentioned about the Fair Student Funding, $125 million, and he just gave the Mayor de Blasio the credit. And we both are on the budget negotiation team in the City Council. We are both in the core leadership team in the City Council. And from day one, this is what Councilman Traeger was talking about, to make sure that we have funding, fair student funding. And under pressure, and everything happens when people fall under pressure, and I could say this publicly, that Councilman Traeger was instrumental by the decision of the administration to provide the $125 million, so he deserves a nice round of applause.
$125 million is not a small change.
Any press here? No press, okay. So first of all, I'm not endorsing Marty Golden. I did park across the avenue. I ran across. I almost got hit by a car. I can swear I could have sworn it's Marty Golden in the car. Anyway, we know almost 85 degrees outside. I'm dressed casual today. I left my jacket in the car. So I hope you all enjoy the weather. Beautiful weather outside. So I just want to bring up a few things. Number one, just a few weeks ago, there was a firefighter, Cassano. He was the previous fire commissioner's son, who went on a anti-Semitic rant on Twitter. And I went through all the tweets and mentioned Hitler, compared to Hitler, and so many crazy different things, that he put out against the Jewish people. My parents are Holocaust survivors, okay, so I take it very personal. But on the other hand, when someone says something stupid, when they're at a young age, I always think that, yes, it's good for me to come out very strongly against someone like that, but we need to make sure that that person gets educated. So that person, that firefighter was fired from the job, went to EMS, and then he was reappointed, and the current fire commissioner, put him into the largest Orthodox Jewish area, which is Borough Park. So elected officials came out, and they have a right. They came out saying that this person does not belong in Borough Park after all the things that he did. And the administration was under a lot of pressure. So I did some homework. I wasn't going to send out any social media asking for his ouster. I was going to do some research. So I met with the Simon Wiesenthal Center. I had him come into my office because I remembered after these tweets that he went into the Simon Wiesenthal Center to get training. So he went in there, he volunteered with Holocaust survivors. He went in there and he went above and beyond to what he needed to do, what he was mandated to do. And he volunteered after hours. He came in several days a week, and it just showed that they told me that he actually felt sorry for what he did. Nothing is 100% proof. But I do believe that people do need a second chance. And I do believe that he shouldn't have been assigned to Borough Park. So what I did was, after meeting with the Simon Wiesenthal Center, I called up a clergy in the fire department, and I told him my opinion is that I would like to sit down to bring in this firefighter into the city council, meet with the Jewish caucus, give him a little more education, talk to him, have a roundtable discussion, and then, in the same time, speak to the fire department and ask them to reassign him to a different engine. And so I called up the clergy. I had a very nice conversation. I called up the fire commissioners, the FDNY. Left a message for the fire commissioner. I did not get a call back because he assumed that I'm calling him saying the same thing that many others were telling him, that they don't want him to be in Borough Park. But I wanted to go beyond that and say that I'd like to meet with him, and I wanted him to be reassigned, but I also wanted him to be reassigned and still have dignity. So I had a conversation that afternoon with a number of people. That evening, the fire department didn't call me back. That evening, they called me up saying that he was reassigned. I received a call from the mayor's office that he was reassigned. He was thrown out of Borough Park. He went to a different engine company. So I told the mayor's office, I'm actually not happy about that because I had, all happened within 12 hours. And I wanted to have an opportunity to at least, if he's reassigned and he still has his dignity, we could work with him, because if you're against one community, and very possibly you're against other communities. So that was the end of the conversation. I never heard back from the fire department. I asked them to, maybe have him come in. Never heard back from them. It's been already almost, I think, a week. How many? 2 days? Not like a week.
Yes, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, so it was about 2 weeks already since then. So at the same time, I don't know if you read an article today in the Daily News. So it was an article today in the Daily News. There was a African-American firefighter who applied twice to be a firefighter. And he was turned down. Why was he turned down? Because I think over 25 years ago, he took his friend's bike and then he returned the bike. Those charges were dropped. And then he was hanging out with someone else who set up some fireworks in the store. So he was arrested for that too, but it was also dismissed. So because he didn't put in his application that he had an arrest record, which was dismissed, they denied him twice, which is not right. Because if I believe someone should get a second chance, I don't care who the person is, this individual deserves a second chance as well. And next week I will be standing with colleagues in the City Council at a press conference, and I believe it's Tuesday at 12 o'clock, asking the fire department to hire this individual. So these are some of the things that's happening around the city, and it's really sad, because common sense is not so common, and it works for one, it works for all. Just because you're a former fire commissioner's son doesn't mean you get carte blanche. On a side note, I just came from two parks department scope meetings. I came from Miller Park on Avenue V East 14th Street. We allocated over $2 million. We're going to have a total new construction of the entire playground. And also, I had a scope meeting in Manhattan Beach Promenade. That's the promenade in front of Manhattan Beach Park, which will also, that was a $6 million allocation, $2 million for me, and $4 million from the governor's office. So this was a joint effort. So that's going to be a brand new promenade that was destroyed after Hurricane Sandy, and it was already in bad shape before Hurricane Sandy. And it would also protect that area from small storm surges. So that's a good thing. On a side note, last time I was here was before I went to Israel. I'm not going to get into that because I really have to run. But I do want to say that we also spoke about the Kings Highway issue, about the select bus service. And I mentioned that we all want better transportation. We all want good transportation. But the way the MTA and DOT came straight out against our community by saying this is going to happen whether you like it or not didn't sit well with me. And I set up a meeting with the governor's office and with the Department of Transportation and Councilmember Mark Traeger and other colleagues in city and state government, and we were able to postpone that implementation that was supposed to happen this June until further notice. There's going to be more conversation, so hopefully we're going to try to take out the part between Bay Parkway and Ocean Avenue from this SBS long stretch. So that was a big win for our community, and the message is that when you have projects that come into Southern Brooklyn, you need to speak to us. And if you don't speak to us, it's not going to happen. So we're still going to continue fighting, and we're fortunate to have great representatives in the City Council. So finally, I'm just going to end off by saying, because I see Ari getting impatient, he wants to say what he wanted to say before. But I just want to say that the reason why I really had to go to a birthday party, and I wasn't going to come here, but I came here because I read the email that Congressman Yvette Clarke is going to be here today. So I just wanted to tell you one quick story. So I received a phone call, this was probably about a month and a half ago, my wife, that someone had an issue, and it was late at night. It was probably like at 10 o'clock at night, and I said, oh, okay, I'll speak to the Congress member. I called that individual back probably about 3 minutes later and said, okay, it's done. We're gonna make sure it happens. The guy was, what do you mean? It's late at night, and you told me you spoke to the Congress member? Congress member Yvette Clark, I know her for a long, long time, very hard worker. She overlaps in parts of my district, and no matter what time of day or night, when something needs to get done, and when it comes to issues that affect people in the federal level, right? It could be someone that has a problem getting into the country. Could be someone that INS stopped. They want to deport him, and I heard many stories in all communities how people are being stopped. And it's very important that we know that we could get a hold of our elected officials. A city council member can't do everything when it comes to emergency, when it comes to like things that need immediate attention. And when it comes to federal issues, we need our elected officials in the federal level to be responsive and to help in those cases. And Congressmember Yvette Clark, I can tell you that she probably, I don't have to ask you, you probably sleep with your phone next to you. I don't have to ask you, I'm not even gonna ask you, but getting a hold of someone who's always responsive. And I had, matter of fact, someone not too far, a neighbor of mine who was a Jewish couple who was held at the airport. And I had to get a hold of someone at the federal level. So that's why it's important to have someone who you can get in touch with constantly and who's going to respond. I have many cases that come to my office, and when it comes to the city issues, we could help them. When it comes to immigration, when it comes to other issues, it's out of my scope because a lot of these federal agencies don't want to talk to a council member. I'll be very honest with you. They will say, no, I'm sorry, we have to have the congressman call. Even the president doesn't want to talk with me. And I'll tell you something. The president went on vacation, and I called him on vacation. I left him a message. I did not get a call back. This is like 3-4 months ago. I did not get a call back. Then I received an email. It said, this email, you probably all received the same thing. It was a message from President Trump. He said, I need to raise money. I think his deadline was a few days ago. I need to raise money. I'm counting on you to raise whatever. I don't remember how much money. So I deleted that email. Next day, I got an email from Laura. Hi, I know President Trump reached out to you, and I'm just following up, and I'd like to know if you can contribute. And it came to my council email. So I responded, I said, 70% of the people in my district voted for President Trump. I'd like a call from him, and this is my number. Following day, I got a call from Laura, could we text? So I replied, absolutely not, I expect a phone call. It didn't work, and this was I think it was like 3-4 weeks ago.
It's a personal story.
Then I call up Washington, D.C., and some lady picks up, very nice lady, and I said, it's a true story, I'm not embarrassed to say. And the reason why I'm calling him, because I need $4 billion for the Army Corps of Engineers to protect our waterfront. That's why I'm calling. So I called him up, I called the White House, and I asked to speak to President Trump. I'm sorry, I could take a message, but I can't give him a message. So I said, what does it mean that you could take a message and you cannot give him a message? Something doesn't make sense. I promise you I was on the phone for 45 minutes, and I said, listen, this is Councilman Deitch. I represent the 48th Council District. I got annoyed. Finally, she goes, for a council member, you're immature. And she hangs up the phone. So I don't know. I'm still going to work on it. I'm still going to try to get the $4 billion to Army Corps of Engineers.
$4 billion.
$4 billion. Yeah, $4 billion. I'm still going to try to get a hold, and I'm hoping that by the next meeting here, I'll have some good news. I don't know, but I will try. So anyway, I'm going to run. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Talk to Gregory Davidson. He has some channels to travel.